How's everyone doing? Yeah, good to see a lot of familiar faces back in our barn, so appreciate you guys all being here. I'm not blind in one eye here, so I can see spots over here, I think. So, but yeah, no, you guys don't want to see me and hear me. You want to be the new man in charge. So, yeah, it was a good process. It took a little bit longer, and I think I mentioned to a few people that it was. I wanted to kind of work around Kevin's schedule. He had some preset dates that he already had committed to. So. But it was a good thing that he was able to come down after that and spent 2 or 3 days here and really got to know, we got him a car, I told him to get lost. And I literally did say that. I said, go drive around and get lost. But no, it's been great working with him last couple of months here. It's good to have him back down here in Pensacola. Introduce formally to you guys and the media and all of Ice Fire Nation, the 4th head coach in Ice Fire's history, Kevin Hasselberg.
Not as tall as Greg. So it's pretty entertaining to mingle around and introduce myself to all you folks. And it just blows my mind that hockey is so passionately pursued down here in Florida. I called it Southern Florida to one of the people I've met here already, but it's not Southern Florida, so yeah, you can boo me. But my interpretation is if there's water and you can't see land on the other side of the water, then you're in the South, right? So that's kind of how I envisioned it. Because in Saskatchewan, you can take a look with a set of binoculars and see across the entire country, and that's kind of what I'm familiar with. So, on that note, folks, it's a true honor to be selected as the next head coach for the Pensacola Ice Flyers. It was an overwhelming process, and certainly it didn't come without a lot of thought. But I knew this, and I knew one thing is the process took care of me and my family, and for that, I think where I want to start with this is to be grateful. I think success in anything you do and anything you accomplish, it's not something that you achieve on your own. Somewhere along the line, people have impacted your life, they've helped you achieve success, and you can all say that for yourselves in your own lives. So the first people, the most important people in all of this is someone that I hope you'll have a chance to meet eventually, and that's my wife. Greg, what you don't know is that she's also the assistant coach. I know she's not on the staff. But truthfully, when it comes to making difficult decisions, when you have a bad day at work, if you're faced with some challenges and things become overwhelming, to you as an individual, you have that one person and that rock in your life that's going to make things a lot better, and that's my wife. When it comes to making tough decisions on players, it's not easy as a coach, especially this year. That's probably the one thing that's going to be a challenge for me, and any coach will say this, is releasing players, because they're all good people in their own way. They're putting in the time to get down here. So I owe everything to my wife, my kids, Dylan and Shawnee, for supporting me through this. It's not easy having a dad as a hockey coach. Anybody will say that if you put in long hours, there are no set hours, and you really get ingrained in your work. And I think all of you folks and the rest of Pensacola is going to learn very quickly that, as a Canadian especially, I was careful how loud I cheered. When they scored 2 goals, I've already got the people pegged out here that are going to be yelling at officials for me and stuff like that. So that's great. My mom and dad, they're ranchers. I was born and raised and grew up in a ranch environment, so we know what hard work is. They taught me that. They taught me the discipline of getting up early and putting in long days and not finishing your day until the work is done. They also taught me that no matter what you do one night, if you're scheduled to be somewhere at a certain time, you show up early, and you show up with your work boots on, you show up giving everything you have. And I'm forever thankful to my parents for teaching me those life lessons. My wife's mom and dad, I call them Nan and Pop. They've been there supporting me along the way, and extremely grateful for everything that they've provided. Pop's been, he keeps things light for me. He sent me a text message here before this evening, and he said just that, keep it light, have fun, enjoy the pressure, but don't get lost and consumed in it. He's always offered me that great advice. My brother, you know, he's an amazing person. He taught me how to fight. You know, as any, and when I say, let me rephrase that. Okay, we taught each other how to stand up for each other. And I think you're going to learn with the hockey team, and where I'm going with this is that, you know, family is family, and if somebody has your back in the corner, you're going to have the back of your family. And with my brother and I, we've had our battles in our lifetime, but one thing I've learned from him is that you're going to have each other's backs whenever somebody's challenging you. Sometimes you got to pick the flight word, sometimes you pick the fight word, but regardless, we always have each other's back when it comes to family. You know, I got to be very careful when I'm filling out the thank yous tonight, because you always leave someone out, and I don't want to do that. But certainly the next person I want to show deep appreciation to, and for many reasons, is Greg Harris, your owner. If he wasn't as thorough as he was in the process, I probably wouldn't have even earned an interview to be even considered as a candidate for the head coaching position. But it's because of his thoughtful process and his thoroughness and what he wanted here as a coach for you fine folks. This is a business of entertainment and player development, and those are the things that are going to factor into making decisions like this and ensuring that the success is continued with this franchise that's now, I guess you can almost call yourselves and will call yourselves a legacy. Some pretty big boots to fill, and I'm proud to be selected and chosen to fulfill that role with this community. So thank you very much, Greg, for believing in me and entrusting this team to me to do the job. I have to thank all the players that have allowed me to coach them. Some of them don't like me, and I can't guarantee you that all the players here will like me, but they'll certainly respect what we're about and why we're doing this. And again, it's all to make each other better. It's to raise the bar. You're going to hear that term a lot this year. And in the Battleford specifically, they gave me that opportunity to grow as a coach. I made a ton of mistakes there, but they never held me, they never got rid of me. They never stopped believing in me when we were at the lowest times. They seen the process through, and the process worked. And we had a lot of success in the Battlefords. And I'm forever grateful to the board of directors and that community for what they did for myself and my family. I have to circle back here because there are some other important people. My daughter's boyfriend. You know, it's crazy. You wouldn't believe me if I told you my daughter was 22 and a university student, but you know, when you move away from your kids for the first time, and some of you have experienced this already, some of you didn't, you want to make sure that they're in good hands, and her boyfriend, Colby, has certainly provided that comfort for my wife and I, knowing that she's in good hands. So that makes it easier to be away from the family and out here with you fine folks to coach this hockey team. To Beth and John, I'm going to meet a lot of people, but you know, part of feeling welcome to a hockey team is the first impression, the first people you meet. And when I flew in here, you know, you got to imagine, I spoke with Sandy earlier, and she had like a 26-hour flight. So I mean, Sandy, I'm not whining or complaining when I talk about this, but I think it was a 13-hour flight, a couple of delays and layovers in Charlotte and whatnot. And I got here and I was just simply exhausted, and I was like, Greg, I just want to go to the hotel and sort things out. So, you know, the first people I see the next morning is Beth and John, and I get a grand tour of everything. So, you know, the first impression, when you get that kind of impression by somebody, it really makes your decision a lot easier and more comforting, knowing that you're going somewhere that's going to be surrounded with great people. And it's no surprise that this team is as successful as it is with people like that helping steer the ship and with people like you who are out here this evening when the hockey game's on, not being able to watch it, supporting this team as well. So that's amazing, and I'm extremely thankful to that. I have to pay respect to the two former coaches that have earned success within this program. Both Rod and Gary have achieved the highest standard in the Southern Professional Hockey League. And there's going to be a lot of comparisons made with regards to both of them and what I'm going to bring to the table. And here's why I'm so thankful to both of these coaches. They've raised the bar, all right? And they've put it at a height that is going to be very difficult to achieve. But if you put it into a different perspective and you look at it from this way, if you had an unsuccessful coach here that was fired in the process and maybe relieved of his duties and the bar was really low, then it's pretty easy to achieve success if you come in and do a good job. Well, my line of thinking through all of this is Rod and Gary have done such a tremendous job, and certainly Greg in the direction of the hockey team, that the bar is raised so high right now that their only choice is to raise it even higher. And that's a challenge, and that's what our team is going to be about, raising ourselves to the challenge, meeting that challenge head on, and that's exciting for me. Is it going to be nervous at times? Absolutely, you know, but I'm excited about that challenge, and I'm excited to meet it head on, and I can't wait to make this building rock no different than it did last year at that time on the clock when Kuzi scored that goal. You know, watching it on film, I don't think does any justice to being here in person live, so I guess the only way to achieve that is to make it happen yourselves, and that's the plan this year, and that's going to be the goal, and we're going to share that as a team, as an organization. It's been in place, it's not going to change, and we're going to find a new way to reach those heights and exceed those heights this season. To the fans, to all of you, and to the city of Pensacola, I'm going to express myself through our players. Our players are going to be a reflection of the work that we put in behind the scenes. Our practices are going to be intense. They're going to be with pace, so that when we practice, it's going to mimic a game situation. So when we come out with the game should almost feel easy for these young men. And we're going to take pride in that. And I think it's very easy for a coach to stand up here and say, you're going to be the hardest working hockey team. You're going to exceed expectations. But at the end of the day, and I'll take this straight from Mike Babcock and his interviews when he took the Toronto Maple Leafs job, is we can sit here and talk to her blue in the face, but until we prove it and we earn that right to say that, that's what hockey is all about. So I can say this all day long with you folks, but at the end of the day, I have to earn that respect, and that's what I'm willing to do, and that's what our players are going to be willing to do as well. So we're going to play with passion, enthusiasm. The creativity is going to be at the forefront of our hockey game. I don't know if a lot of you had a chance to watch Team North America last night with the Young Guns. And that was the most inspiring, amazing hockey that I've seen for 5 minutes that I was able to watch it. And that's what our team's going to be about. We're going to make mistakes, folks. And you're going to be, you know, hitting your thigh or stomping your feet, wondering what in the world is going on. You know what's going to make our players so successful is they're not going to be scared to make those mistakes. All right? They're going to try to do things with creativity. We're really going to let them spread their wings and be hockey players, because that's what they are. This game is not a complicated game. Okay, when we make it complicated, that's when players get tight, and that's when you lose confidence. And it's going to be up to us as a coaching staff and you as the fans to support our players and support the process. And the process will produce results, and I'm a believer in that. So we're going to play an entertaining brand of hockey, because that's what it's about. You want to be entertained as fans. You want to see highlight reel goals, well then we're going to give you highlight reel goals. And we're going to practice that way. And I'm excited about that. It excites me as a coach to see highlight reel goals. Okay, there is nothing more exciting than to see 6,000 people, 7,000 people jump out of their seats and Kuzi score that goal. All right, that's hockey. That's fan entertainment. That's why you're here tonight, and that's what we want to provide back to you. And we're going to practice that. Okay, and we are not going to be critical of the mistakes. We're going to learn from them. We're going to try it again. We're going to go until we get it right, and that's why we practice. The star of this team is going to be the team itself. I see a lot of you with Ice Flyers paraphernalia and coats. Who's wearing a coat? I'm the only crazy guy in this community right now that wears a coat. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm just in denial or what's going on. But you know, you're going to ask me a lot of questions about individual players, and I'm going to answer it simple with you. And maybe you can save those questions. But the star of this hockey team is going to be the team itself. We're going to ice a roster with 10 forwards, 6 defense, and 2 goaltenders. And every single one of those players and staff, they're going to serve a purpose in this hockey team, and that's to get back to the stage that you guys have left last year and in that goal. All right. Some players are going to score lots of goals and they're going to share a lot of the spotlight, but we can't forget that there's a 10 forward in this hockey team, and that forward is absolutely critical to the success of this program. Some nights we might have 6 forward stretch, all right? And every single one of them are going to feel a part of the process to be successful, and that's what's going to make ours successful, okay? Both Jen and Bones are going to serve a huge purpose to why this team is going to be successful, and they're behind the scenes, and I got to tell you, they're 2 of the hardest working individuals that you don't meet and that you don't know. And maybe you do, but they are critical components that make this team tick and any championship team tick. So, circling back to the thank yous, rather than saying thank you, I say, boy, I'm excited to work with you guys, and it's going to be a lot of fun this season to share the good and the bad and what's to come in what you call hockey season. It's going to be a lot of fun. The other thing you're going to find, and this is why I made some close friends over here with regards to yelling at officials and whatnot. It doesn't happen. I'll calmly speak to the officials and maybe question a call or two, but I've got a signal and it looks like this, so you all know now, and that's going to be the signal for some of the fans to yell at the referees. Okay, and here's why. Well, and I'm going to learn that. I'm going to learn that. And that's great. I look forward to that. But here's why, okay? This team's not going to whine. We're not going to complain. We're not going to make excuses. Okay? If we mess up on the ice surface, then we got to go back to work and make it right. All right? We're going to be early and we're going to be prepared. I talked about the lessons that I learned from my parents about being early for work and always showing up prepared, and that's where that comes from. If we got to be in the community to read to kids at school, if we got to be at the hospitals to do work in the hospitals, any type of community work, we're going to be there. We're going to be there with a smile on our face. If we get back from Columbus at 4 o'clock in the morning and we got to be somewhere at a function at 9 o'clock the next morning, we are going to be there with smiles on our face. Okay? And the reason we have to do that is because you guys are the people that make this hockey team work. And that's a part of being in the community. And that's what we're going to hold each other accountable for. And that's what's been established here already. We talked about that bar being raised so high. These players know that. And they're holding me accountable already with the players that I've spoken to with regards to the types of people that they want in this dressing room. And I respect that. It's a culture, and it's an identity that's been formed and built, and all of you help contribute to that. And that's what makes this team so special and where it's at these days. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And the last thing I want to talk about with regards to the way we're going to play and the culture and the identity of this program that's going to continue and to continue to grow is that we will always protect the hockey team. Okay? Now, what that looks like, I guess the best example is if somebody takes out Corey Banfield and Brandon Blair's on the ice, he's probably going to go after the guy that took him out, right? And you've all seen it, you're going to cheer for it. I know that, okay? But it's much bigger than that. Okay, protecting the team is much bigger than that. Protecting the team is doing what's right every time and every chance you get. All of you folks that have that shield across your chest right now, that's protecting the hockey team. When you represent something, you forfeit everything to represent that. And I think, and I don't want to talk a lot about the Blue Angels and what they, but that's another impressionable thing on me. Coming from northern Canada out here to Pensacola is how passionate this community is about the Blues, and I'm almost fearful to talk about them because I respect them so much. I've read books about them, but I really believe in that this team has adopted that culture, and when we go out in the community, when we're on that ice surface, all right. You should expect nothing but our best. That should be what you expect as fans, and that's what we are going to give you. And when you're not here and we're practicing, that's how we have to perform. We have to perform at our best because that's what the bar has been raised to. And that's what I'm so excited and passionate about being here and giving back to you folks. So, with that, I'm sure I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but I'm really appreciative of all of you taking time out of your night to be here tonight. And on that note, Greg, thank you. Okay, yeah, you know, like there's you all see the player announcements that are coming through and whatnot, and I will talk about the latest player announcement that we do have, and that's a young man by the name of Aaron Clark, a highly successful, experienced hockey player that's going to imprint himself, and he's bringing his family with him. Into what it means and what it to the younger players, how to be a professional, because this is a young man that's probably perfected that. And I think a player of his character is going to fit right into this hockey team. He's going to fit right into the dressing room, and he's going to bring a lot of the characteristics that are already in place here and help grow the hockey team over the course of the season and help us achieve our goals. So I'm sure you'll do your own research and you're going to learn a lot more about Aaron, but he's certainly a young man that we're very excited to announce. That's going to be a part of our hockey team.
And now, if anybody has any questions, if you raise your hand, we can walk the mic over to you.
Everybody wants to know the score in the hockey game. 3-1? Somebody say 3-1? Nobody brought fruit in here, did they? Yes, sir.
We just got the rule changes in. What do you think about the rule of a game misconduct for removing your helmet?
You know, I talked about never whining, complaining, or making excuses earlier, and you know what, truthfully, I think with the game and the direction the game's gone, with the concussion protocols, the safety of the game, that we have to respect the changes that are going to be implemented. Some of them we may not appreciate, we may not be familiar with, but it's coming. And I think player safety is at the forefront of the game at the NHL level, and that's going to filter down throughout all the various levels and right down through to minor hockey. The last thing we want to see is someone's career ended because they were injured. And you know, at the very worst, there has been some serious injuries from heads hitting the ice. And if we can prevent that from happening as a collective group for the betterment of the game, then that's what we have to do.
When will we see the roster of the team, and how many players are coming back from last year?
Oh, that's a loaded question. You know what, there's a process. I can tell you this, the camp opens up October 12th. Yeah, right on. Hey, I'm with you. The second the ice goes in here, I'm going to be sitting on the bench over there, just kind of licking my chops waiting to get on the ice. So I can't wait for that either. But it happens so quickly, and that's going to be new to me as well, and I'm excited for that challenge. But October 12th, we start up. We play, at this point in time, one exhibition game on the weekend, and then we hit the ground running. But I think announcements have to come that Monday, right? Wednesday, yeah. So you can expect, if we play the 21st, that would make that, what, 19th? Just to throw a date into it. You know, and then with regards to returning players, I think that's really up in the air. You know, we're excited that the prospect of having as many as 9 players return to the roster from last season, that these young men are all pursuing options to play at higher levels as well, and that's a process we have to respect, and that's what this team's about. So, you know, anywhere that we can help a player move up to the ECHL and to a higher level of hockey, then that's what we're about. So, on paper right now, I would say that we could have as many as 9 players returning to us from last year's squad, which would be fantastic. Yes, sir.
Welcome to Pensacola, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Speaking of rule changes, that one about the no timeout by the team that iced the puck, can we also stop the media timeout happening at that time?
Well, we have a lot of media members in attendance tonight. So
I know that.
Direct that question to the media. You know, that's a question that I probably couldn't even venture to answer. I will tell you this, you know, as a coach, you take advantage of every second of every opportunity in a hockey game, and if it's a media timeout, that might be an opportunity to change momentum or to maintain momentum, and it just presents another challenge for you moving forward. But you know, I think there's a purpose to everything, and maybe they just call it a media timeout, and it's not actually for the media. I don't know, but I'm not going to throw the media under the bus. We're going to treat them with a lot of respect tonight too. But that's a great question. Thank you.
Hey, I can fill you guys in a little bit more on it. A lot of those decisions were made back in the league meetings in June, and they were just announced a couple days ago. A lot of those rule changes are to get our league in line with NHL, AHL, and ECHL rules. What that will do, it also makes things easier on the refs, who now I know what the signal is. Well, I didn't know that until about 5 minutes ago. But so that's where some of those rule changes come in, is so that we can you know, further align ourselves with some of the leagues higher than us. So that's some of it.
Wow, I was told I was going to get bombarded with questions tonight. This is great. I must have covered everything in my talk.
All right. Well, yeah, once again, appreciate you guys all coming out and supporting us, supporting Kevin. And yeah, he'll be around for a little bit here afterwards, chatting with some of the media. The cup's out somewhere. If you'll notice, we've got all three of our plates on the front now where they all belong. So, if you guys have any questions for us, Maverick's here. He's always a big help for everything. He'll talk your ear off. But yeah, no, thanks again for showing up, and we appreciate it. So we'll see you guys in only a few weeks. So thank goodness.